What is happening? Welcome to the Plus Pitch Podcast, more pitching podcast from pitcherlist.com. My name is Nick Pollock. Today is April 8th. Oh my gosh, and we are going to talk about baseball. We have Carmen Electric as our lead today. That's Carmen Mlodzinski. I got it right, guys. I got the pronunciation guide. I can't even do that. Oh, that's kind of ironic. And we're going to talk about this guy because he went 5 innings, 1 earned run, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts against the Cardinals. Is this enough? Is this a new guy that we need to jump on? Probably not. He has some interesting aspects. He has this sinker that gets a lot of run to it, 19 inches of run and 95, a four-seamer that just does not have good shape, but it has a lot of drop to it. It's actually really interesting. I saw a lower height-adjusted VAA for the four-seamer than the sinker. It's very strange. But those pitches did not have good strike rates. 47% of the four-seamer, 46 on the sinker for Mlodzinski. And the sweeper and slider are really the things he was trying to make work to get through this game. The slider was kind of dancing with the disco a bit of just being inside the strike zone a lot. And then you have the sweeper they threw to both right-handers, left-handers. I don't know. It had moments. I watched it and I was like, this is kind of interesting for Carmen Mlodzinski, but no, I can't really lean into this one right now, and I don't think you should, considering also the low win chance. Even though we got one yesterday in 5 innings because it was the Cardinals, I think it's really just a streaming option against really bad teams. Sorry, Carmen Mlodzinski. Hunter Greene really deserves this. He's going to ace, and I have to give him one more because it was a golden goal, 19 whiffs, and 37% CSW ice. He was so close to getting the complete game shut up, but he overthrew pitches to Matt Chapman. 8.2 innings of 0 earned runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts, trying to show Logan Webb, hey, look, this is how it's done, buddy. He's the best version of himself I've ever seen. The vert is as high as it's ever been, around 17 plus inches. We have velocity at 99 average for Hunter Greene and 76% slider strikes. It's nuts. This is the best Hunter Greene ever. And he has the Pirates next. And let's be honest, I know I'm going to say one more start for Ace is going to ace. Like, oh, why does it have to be the Pirates? Whatever. Just do it against the Pirates and you get Ace is going to ace. Justin Steele, 7 innings, 0 earned runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. And this is something I'm going to say a lot today. It was really weird weather across the board for a lot of these games. And I didn't necessarily report it directly inside of all these roundups, but you had depressed velocity at 90.2 miles per hour for Justin Steele against the Rangers. You're going to see it for Eovaldi as well, which is kind of terrifying how low it was. But then you got to remember, it was really, really, really cold, okay? But with Steele, he spotted his pitches really well inside of that cold, especially that four-seamer. And then he had a slider that I don't really think was that well located, but it had a 40% CSW. So he killed it. And I'm so glad to see a good outing from Steele, especially with good command despite how cold it was. As I mentioned, Logan Webb, 7 innings, 0 earned runs, 4 hits, 0 walks, and 10 strikeouts. And he's doing this without his changeup going 50% usage. 20%. It was actually like 19.6, which is wild. It was also 6 over 19 whiffs on that slow ball. So he has these cutters and he has these sweepers and some four-seamers upstairs. He got a couple of whiffs and obviously all of the sinkers getting called strikes. And that is great. I love this version of Webb. I think there will be a start that he goes like 40% changeups because the other pitches won't be working. So you're like, all right, here you go. But Logan Webb being able to make this work without having to rely on that is just great. Kodai Senga, again, lower velocity, could have been because of the weather in New York. 5 innings, 0 earned runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 4 Ks. He was at 94 miles per hour, not 96 or flirting with that. It was interesting to see him not go the full wide arsenal. I remember seeing that before, where he really leaned into everything around 5-6 pitches, but this was just four-seamer splitter cutter, just like the old days, and it was good, and this worked, except those 5 whiffs and 23% CSW and a 140 whip against the Marlins. You know, so I'm a little discouraged by this. The weather, again, okay. We have Jose Berrios because he's the great undulator. And you can never figure out when the good starts are going to happen and when the bad ones are. If you try to play that game with Berrios, you're just going to lose. Because this was at Fenway. And he got to win 7 innings and 1 earned run. 4 hits, 3 walks, and 2 Ks. He had 2 whiffs. 2! 25% CSW. What? What a guy. What a guy, Jose Berrios. Casey Mize. Look, I put out the list yesterday, And I was really, really discouraged by Casey Mize's first start of the year. And I said publicly, like, I don't like this because I see Casey Mize as someone who needs to be better than his 2024 self. And he was doing that in the spring by going around 96 miles per hour in the four-seamer with a split change that he's always had, or actually really a splitter, I should say. But then hopefully something really improving inside of his secondaries, from a curveball to a slider, just something that's more of a good bridge pitch. And I lowered him on the list because we didn't see that the first start. This game happened against the Yankees. I was not taking into consideration because it happened right when I was publishing the list. Now, this one was better, kind of, results-wise. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 3 walks, 6 Ks. Flurries all over the place. So I'm a little, I don't know what to make of 94 because it was what we saw before from Casey Mize, but it's also that weather. And maybe that would come up in the next one. I don't know. The curve and slider went 1 for 35 whiffs. He did not have any feel for it. I know that there's maybe like 1 or 2 ones that look nice. Sometimes Casey Mize's breakers look nice. They're just not reliable. And the fact that, 1 over 35 whiffs, again, is not saying to me, oh yeah, Nick, you really messed up by dropping him down on the list. Of course, it was really cold. It could have affected it. I think we just throw this one away, honestly. And based on last week, I'm standing by where I put Casey Mize. Okay, he gets the Twins next. If you want to take a chance there and see, that's fine. I think that's okay. That's a good stream. The Twins are not an offense you really should be afraid of. But I don't see Casey Mize as this brand new pitcher from last year. All right, we have other guys to talk about. Dustin May having a weird start. Some bad news about Zach Eflin, Hayden Wesneski, and Mackenzie Gore, and Richard Fitz, and so many others. We're going to talk about all of that after this break. Michael Lorenzen, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 5 hits, 0 walks, and 3 Ks. No, just no. He just like throws all these things over the plate at times, and he stayed down away to right-handers, and I guess it worked against a bad offense, and it's just, no. Just don't do it with Lorenzen, okay? If you're desperate for a quality start, fine, but because he'll go 90 pitches or so. But no, don't do it. Dustin May against the Nationals. This was weird. Maybe, again, the weather affected him, but 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. How am I supposed to butter my bread with this? 3 whiffs, 28% CSW, 86 pitches. This was weird because it was a sinker at 93.8. This is Dustin May. The guy throwing like 99-mile-per-hour sinkers. Remember that? Again, maybe it's the weather. 0 out of 19 whiffs on his four-seamer is also like, what? Like, wait, hold on. You're supposed to save those and throw those upstairs as surprise pitches. 0 for 19 is just not it. And then cutters were just kind of like, whatever, I'm done. And there were sweepers, but those weren't very good. This was really just him getting away with his sinker. And that's the thing about Dustin May, though. At its core, that sinker is just always really hard to hit. And he throws enough strikes with them. And that's a good foundation. This is what I like about Dustin May. I know it sounds weird, but in this start where he's at 94 and he doesn't get whiffs from anything, he still gives you 6 innings and 1 earned run in a 1 whip, right? And gives you a chance for a win. We'll talk about who stole that win from him in a second. But yeah, this is fine. We keep going with Dustin May. The velocity decrease is scary, but I'm going to say it's the weather. Zach Eflin. I said after the start that he has a bit of like shoulder tightness, I believe it was, and not fun. You never want to see that with a pitcher. Shoulder fatigue, I'm sorry, is the correct quote. It was 6 innings, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 0 walks, 1 K. How am I supposed to butter my bread with this? I was hoping he'd be a Holly, and this is really Toby, and that's fine, I guess. Like, you keep starting him, but the shoulder fatigue that he says is not concerning. I mean, he did pitch well against the Diamondbacks and got you a win. So I'd say unless he goes in the IL, you just keep going. That's just, yeah. If you're debating between Eflin and like Chris Bubich, just get Chris Bubich. The list reflects that. Just follow the list. Okay. Logan Gilbert, ace is going to ace. 5.2 innings, 1 earned run, 1 hit, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Well, we call that a Philly. A close but no cigar. The Phillies used to do this where they'd pull guys in the 6th inning with 1 out to go. Aaron Nola, my gosh, did it so many times. But the splitter was so good for Logan Gilbert. 9 over 24 whiffs. He laced the bottom of the zone with these splitters. It was so good. it was so good. The four seamer also wasn't like littered all around the zone. It was actually relatively in the top half of the zone. And the slider, yeah, the slider was just chilling and doing great things. This is Logan Gilbert, and it's kind of interesting because I was pretty down on Logan Gilbert entering this year. Now, this was in Seattle. Okay, we know that Logan Gilbert's great in Seattle, so fine. But I'm seeing more of the. This is like again the best version of Logan Gilbert, like it was with Hunter Green. And I was down on Logan Gilbert because I was saying, well, yeah, the guys last year, like he's not as top five as everyone else is, but so far he's showcasing the skills of being that top five guy. It's pretty cool. And I'm happy to be wrong. I always say that all the time. I'm very happy to be wrong if it means that guys are better than I expected. All the time. I just want every pitcher to be dope. Valente Bellozo, I want you to be dope. But 3.2 innings, 1 earned run, 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 Ks. I'll be honest with you guys. I wrote this roundup bit, which is terrible. It's terrible. It doesn't make sense. Because I literally was trying so hard to figure something out here to say. And I had nothing. So I just wrote the thing that was dumb and was nothing. Okay? Why do you keep starting Valente? I didn't hear no Bellozo. It doesn't make any sense. Hayden Wesneski, 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 0 walks, and 5 strikeouts, 14 whiffs, 29% CSW, 82 strikes, 82 pitches. Look, this is actually really cool. The cutter was fantastic with 87% strikes. That's really, really nice. And this was against the left-handers. And yes, this was in Seattle. And the sweeper actually that Wesneski is kind of known for, the big breaking ball, everyone goes, oh my gosh, what a filthy bitch. 2 out of 17 whiffs, 59% strikes. It wasn't the thing. I mean, the cutter to lefties is really what's really cool. And he's near 7 feet of extension. There is a lot to like. It's so weird. I go back and forth with Wesneski. Sometimes I think it's just a worse Brandon Pfaadt. And then he shows up with this, and then he says, hey, by the way, I also have 7 feet of extension. Hey, and I'm like, wait, hold on a second. So we're good now with Wesneski. Oh, wait, it's in Seattle. I don't know what to do. So I'd say just roll with Wesneski and see how this develops. Okay, cool. Mackenzie Gore, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts against the Dodgers. And guess what? He just threw 4 seamers over the plate to right-handers. And the change went 1 for 10 strikes. And the slider wasn't nearly as good as we've seen against left-handers. And the curve, yeah, that was a 46% strike rate, but 36% CSW. So it was good when it was executed, but it wasn't executed often, less than half the time. I just, weird. It only sat 95 on the fastball, not 97. How did you do this against the Dodgers? What? I don't know. I feel like he's going to be hipster all year. It's just going to be back and forth, snip, snap. You have Richard Fitz, 6 innings, 300 runs. He looks like a Toby. I'll be honest with you. I watched this one. Maybe the velocity's down because of the cold again. It was in Fenway. His 6.6 feet of extensions, not the 7 feet. The curve and slider were better in this one. And I could see like how it works, you know. It is interesting though that he's at 94. It's I can see kind of like the package is all one of like, hey, this all is kind of good. It's kind of like Cutter Crawford in this way. Like, hey, I see how all these things could work, but nothing is really that leader pitch. Nothing is like, oh man, whoa, Richard Fitz, you trying to get to this and you're using that to do this. It's still kind of all just, hey, here's the things I have. Let's see what works, you know. Michael King, ace is not going to ace. 5.2 innings of 300 runs, 8 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts, as he was an out away from a very, very poor quality start. He got singled out, really. I mean, I actually don't think that he pitched that badly, which I know sounds crazy. I mean, he left too many sweepers upstairs to right-handers, and that's the problem. But really, like, this is still really good. I would buy low on Michael King everywhere. Nathan Eovaldi finally had a bad game, 4.2 innings of 3 runs in Chicago, so at Wrigley. 4 hits, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. It's the list curse, guys. I made him the focus of the list. But no, the curve is still there, and that's fine. He's at 91.9. Not like 93. 92. And it's also super cold, right? So, okay. But Eovaldi, I remember when we were scared at 94, 95, because he's supposed to be like 96, 97. And we've accepted 94, 95 from Eovaldi, but 92? The cold. It has to be the cold, guys. Simeon Woods Richardson, 5.2 innings, 400 runs, 8 hits, 4 walks, 6 Ks. You don't need to do this. And I do wonder about Zeppy Matthews, and I apologize. I did not add Zebby Matthews to my prospects to stash table. I thought I did last week, and I just looked at it as, yeah, there's nothing new, and I kept it as it was, and I should have put Zebby Matthews in there. I would say Zebby Matthews is like my third or fourth minor league stash. It would probably be, it would be Bubba Chandler, Quinn Matthews, Andrew Painter, and then Zebby. So it's not really someone I need to hold on to right now. It's only Bubba Chandler is that right now. Okay? You have Luis Severino against the Padres, 7 innings of 5 runs. Yeah, you don't want to start Severino against the Padres. That's pretty simple. Matthew Liberatore, 6.1 innings, 5 earned runs, 8 hits, 0 walks, and 7 Ks against Pittsburgh. He actually had a really good slider in this one. 6 over 21 whiffs in at 52% CSW. Fastball was only at 93 and change. It was in Pittsburgh, cold. And I actually think that he did decently well. The fastballs are too hittable, really the sinker in this, and just keep monitoring Liberatore. There might be something that actually turns into a good like Vargas rule here for him. And Carlos Rodon was terrible against the Tigers. I take that back. He wasn't terrible. What's really funny is actually I was doing this live and doing the list in this morning stream, and I realized that I hadn't put Carlos Rodon into my lineup. I was only checking as first pitch was going on just to make sure. And it just turned over right as I checked it. I was so upset. And, of course, 6 innings, 5 earned runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, 8 Ks. I guess the ERA would have hurt, but a 117 whip, 8 strikeouts still might have helped. The thing is, it was really just one really bad changeup to Mize that was hit over the left field wall for a 3-run shot. If you take that away, like, he had it. You know what I mean? I know that sounds ridiculous and reductive, but at the same time, one pitch changing an entire outlook of if a guy is good or bad is always something I think about. And I think in this one, it's just like, all right, whatever. It was also really cold, so we're fine. You have Zach Gallen also against the Orioles. This was in Arizona, though. 4.2 innings of 5 earned runs, 7 hits, 4 walks, and 2 Ks. Oh, my gosh. After that absurd 13 strikeout performance against the Yankees in 6 innings, you get this. And you don't have 19 inches of vert, you have 17. You have only 27% strikes in the curveball. This was just like such a bad day. And yeah, I'm scared. I mean, this is the decline, or not the decline, but the fear I've had for Zach Gallen. So I really hope that this is not something that sticks at all. Of course, I think you still have to hold on to Zach Gallen. But man, I'm scared, guys. I'm very scared about that one. But that is it for today. Enjoy Pablo Lopez versus Cole Reagans. I have no idea what to do for that. I'm going to just hope that everybody is happy and has a great time. But that is it for today. Thank you all so much for listening. My name is Nick Pollack, and may your BABIPs be low and your strikeouts high. Get out of here.